our lives. So we'll be talking about what we're here for. We have incarnated, taken physical body. What is it that we need to do to fulfill the purpose of our life? So we begin by saying that we were born to become aware that we are divine beings in a human body. Often we get confused and distracted, and we spend our lives after many other transient and less important goals. So fame, family, possessions, etc. And for we waste precious time, energy, and opportunities in the pursuit of desirable ideals, not living according to desired ideals. With that, human birth does not merely to enjoy worldly pleasures, but sacrifice everything and to derive pleasure from creation and sacrifice. It is very perform activities that will bring good for everybody. It is never recognized that a man's life is to be spent in selfless service. Very important. Service done for selfish gain is service at all. Human birth is intended to serve others, not to work, eat, drink, and sleep, but to help others who are in some kind of need. Sathya said, the unity of divine energy has humanity as Sathya Sai, to wake the sleeping divinity in every human being. If she is holding you back from decision right now to whatever it takes to transform your life, for me, to give wisdom to learn what is it that you need to change in your life to a more spiritual person, to give the strength that you need to accomplish it. Important to keep in mind, live a spiritual life with a life of loving service. The requirements to live a life of loving service is basically three. With the right attitude, be inspired by a good motivation, and third, we need to have right intentions. So, let me go into some more details of these three requirements. First, let us consider having the right attitude. We know that there are two kinds of wrong attitudes. Are number one, arrogance, and number two, temptation. Let me clarify those two. Let me talk more about those two. Who is arrogant? Arrogance is to feel superior or better than others. Who is that we are above others. And let others know how generous we are. Let's debate about motivation. The meaning of motivation is when we give, expecting something in return. That kind of motivation. Give to receive something. And the contrary, with the right type of motivation when expecting nothing in return. Let's consider what is living with the right intentions. Living with means when all of our intentions are inspired by love. One consideration in more spiritual is to negative defects, character, so anger. Spirituals, as we all are, most vigilant, not lose their temper on small things, because that will block their spiritual progress. Another important thing that we must always keep in mind is that we welcome criticism from others. Yes, welcome criticism from others. Spiritual must gladly welcome the declaration of their defects by anyone. Spirituals must gladly welcome the declaration of their defects by anyone. Indeed, they be grateful to those who point out their defects. Spiritual as we all are, must hold hatred against anyone. Issue to keep in mind that aspirants must reduce or eliminate cautions and arguments. Cautions and arguments reinforces the spirit of dispute and lead people to angry retaliations and resentful fighting. I will always keep in mind no struggle to earn the recognition of the world. Not humiliated or angry when God does not recognize you or your merits. And you become extremely happy when you're being praised by others. Let's talk a little bit about the so-called the three levels of desires. The first level of desires is with the desires and attachments of their minds to worldly objects by the power of the intellect through discrimination. By using discrimination, begin determined actions will get them closer or further from God. The level of desires is when we have as the only desire the desire for God. But the desire for God has to disappear. The desire for God is also considered a mind activity. And finally, the third level of desires, we have the so-called advanced desires. This advanced state of desires is a search for the use of the mind by using the inquiry of who am I. Find that all agitations of the mind will disappear as we enter on the inquiry of who am I? Who am I? Who was that the sadhana or spiritual practice that Ramana Maharshi practiced and taught to his disciples? Ramana was a great spiritual being. Asking the easiest of all the spiritual disciplines and practices to become aware of our inner divinity. So remember, so important. Who am I is the easiest of all the spiritual disciplines to be aware of our inner divinity, which is all what we are in this life for. Learning to realize, to become aware of our inner divinity. To encourage you to spend some time every day ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Who am I? Now, the topic a little bit, and let's about the three gunas, Tam, Rajas, and Sattva. I'll begin by explaining first and above all what is a guna. Guna is a Sanskrit word which means quality and or tendency. In Ayurveda, it is a tendency that can affect our psychological, emotional, and energetic states. All things are always present in all beings, and objects surrounding us, but they differ in relative amount and quantity. We humans have a unique ability to consciously the amounts of the gunas present in our bodies and in our minds. They cannot be removed from ourselves, but they increased or decreased interactions with external objects, as well as by our lifestyle, practice, and thoughts. So let's consider the different qualities of the three gunas are. The first guna is called tamas gunas. That state of darkness, inertia, and inactivity. Tamas from ignorance. Basic qualities are less attachment, depression, helplessness, confusion, and ignorance. So we need to avoid as much as possible to use and influenced by the first guna, by tamagunas. Even people, if they're influenced by tamas, they go towards sensory pleasures to the detriment of the spiritual wisdom they have already gained. The second that I want to mention tonight is the called rajas. Is energy, action, change, and movement. Other rajasic qualities are anger, anxiety, fear, irritation, worry, restlessness, stress, and chaos. So we will avoid as much as possible being influenced by the Rajaguna. And finally, the third guna that I have to consider here is the so-called Satguna. Satguna is a positive guna and harmony, balance, joy, and intelligence. All qualities are happiness, peace, wellness, freedom, love, compassion, cheerfulness, and gratitude. Such a guna that makes spiritual liberation possible. The influence of the sattva guna will create love and compassion. Only those who are saturated by the sattva guna can be aware that we are Atma and not the body. So, guys, my strong suggestion is that you time every day working in different ways of becoming a more spiritual person in your daily life. And this thought, I conclude today's presentation. And now I will be open for a few minutes to take some questions from the listeners, if there are any questions. And ask me if you have any. If there are no questions at this point, we will finish or conclude this presentation for tonight. I wish you everybody the best of the best.
Dr. Gomez, I'll open the channel for questions.
Thank you.
Saira listeners, do you have questions for Dr. Gomez?
Mute everybody.
Sure.
Or they are.
Everyone is unmuted.
I'm sorry, but the volume is not high enough. I cannot hear the question.
No, that was not a question. I think people were talking.
Then,
Everyone is unmuted now.
I have a question, Murli. Can I go ahead?
Sure, please.
Okay.
I'm Dr. Gomez. Thank you for that very, very crisp overview of spirituality, which many people lifetime to figure out. You have captured it in about 20 minutes and hit all the. It's true, sir. Because I think we all Sai devotees to some extent are sadhakas in their own lives. Made progress or not, that only Swami knows. Everybody is struggling with many of these things. So can you please help us, sir, when you said, for instance, you were telling about we should welcome criticism. Can you recall an occasion when you were, when Swami in this regard, sharing that, and how did you overcome it? And share that. That will be very helpful, because I think many people are very, including myself, I'll be honest, most of us are very touchy. When someone criticizes us, we take personally, we get offensive, we get dead rather, and then we'll hurt and we think so many things, But I think it's very good if you could kindly share some light on that. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Let's say that we're following Swami's path. We will uniquely, at a point or another, possibly more than once, tested by Swami. So to test us to see where we are in our spiritual development. And because sometimes we need to in more or less spiritual than what we really are. And through different tests it gives us from time to time, we then have a more clear idea where we are in that of spirituality. We need questions.
No, what I'm saying is, how did you manage to? Were you tested in this regard? Did somebody criticize you, and then how did you overcome that, or how did you handle that? We would like to know, sir.
Yes. I had a big test point in the past, something terrible, something really bad happened to one member of my family. I am not going to go into details because it's not important, but at that point, the first was a big mistake. What I tried to solve that problem on my own, myself, which is something that we tend to do sometimes. Sometimes we tend to forget about Swami. I forget that he's there all the time with us, around us, and he's always ready to help us. And because of our human nature, we tend to forget that, and we tend to solve the problems ourselves. And when we realize, as I did, can't, that cannot, then we think about Swami. Then we turn to Swami and we ask for his help. And you know, Swami is always there. Swami is always wanting to help us. It's not asking for his help. It is not turning to Swami. The main problem is solving our problem in life. Question.
Right. I have a question. You, while talking about the spiritual aspirants, and you said that a spiritual aspirant should never get into arguments and discussions also. I understand arguments because usually comes when you want to prove that your statement is correct. But this is with an inquiry. Like I would like to know on that one. So,
Yes.
do you think that discussions also are not good for a spiritual aspirant?
Well, there are kinds of discussions. The discussions that we can have to clarify something, the discussion. And discussions are also, the second type, are those that we have to just argue and fight. And doing and fighting different topics will lead us anywhere that is worth of our spiritual progress. When I'm saying discussions, I'm referring to those arguments that we can have sometimes that are not leading to more spirituality. But are good if they are to clarifying we are in life.
I think that makes correct. Thank that clarification.
Okay. Any or comments? If we say that I wanted to bring everyone lucky, extremely lucky are because we are in the path of money. We have the of spirituality that was designed by Swami. That is great fortune that a lot of people, millions of people, don't have. They don't even know about Swami. But most have been called to Swami. How long can we be? We have to Swami to follow his teachings, and this is a great spiritual accomplishment.
Thank you for that one. And now may I request our regional president to program with a few comments.
Murli, thank you, sir. Thanks so much, Dr. Gomez. I felt really this is one very, very beautiful study circle where the presenter has given us a lot of thoughts to actually ponder upon. You have like, the theme of your talk is what is the purpose of our lives? And then very clearly enunciated how to go about it. Like, said, our purpose, we are born to become aware and realize that we are divine beings in a human body.
Yes.
Not to get confused and chase these unnecessary mirages of wealth, family, material possessions, etc. because that's completely a waste of our time and energy. And the real goal, rather than chasing those things you said, can be attained when we sacrifice and renounce our personal interest in our egos and negative qualities and dedicate our life in self-service. So these were very, very, very crucial foundational pieces that you shared. And then you also shared one very beautiful thought. You said, spiritual path, we are, like you said in the end also, that we are very close. We are very blessed that Swami has, the totality of divine energy has come to help us. And if anything is holding us back, we need to just pray to him and take his help. And even in clarifying one of the questions, you said that rather than trying to take on the solution to problems ourselves or situations ourselves, relying on our limited capabilities, if we first turn to Swami, that will be a lot better. And in fact, that is what you did in one particular occasion, like you said, within your family circles when there was a need for that.
Yes.
And then very nicely you shared with us the three things, how we can make our life, how can we convert our life to one of loving service. It's with having the right attitude and to be inspired by good motivation, to have the right intentions. And you also clarified what are the wrong aspects of it. It's just like Swami says, he says in one side, he says, see no evil, see what is good. So this is what not to do and what to do. Likewise, you told us what are the wrong attitudes, and also you told us what is the attitudes. What are wrong motivations and what is the right motivation? What are the wrong intentions and what is the right intentions? So there is clarity in that. And how can we know that we are making progress, and what are the things that we need to take care of? Actually, these are really like some simple formulae which we can really use as benchmarks for our own progress. Like you said, we must be vigilant not to lose temper on small things. I can certainly work on that. And you said to welcome criticism from others, and you said we should even be we should welcome this. Now, that is taking the bar a little high, but we'll work on that. And then you said we must be grateful to those who point our defects. So I think this is so important. And you said not to be hatred against anyone. So I was reminded, we were telling this, that somebody said of Shirdi Baba, that when people saluted him, he was okay. He didn't, he was not elevated by that or elated by that. And when people did not even recognize him or call him a madman, he did not respond to that. He didn't get angry to that. And I think you're asking us to work in direction and basically to avoid all these discussions and egoistic arguments with others. And another thing, a few others that you mentioned are really gems. That's why with Swami's grace, I would like to share those. You said not to struggle to earn the recognition of the world. Yes. And do not get angry when others do not recognize your merits. I think this is very important because sometimes some people have this feeling of entitlement. We think the world should recognize us one way or the other, but you're clearly telling, do not struggle to earn the recognition of the world. Do not be angry when others do not recognize your merits. Do not be extremely happy when praised by others. So these are all the balance that you're trying to instill in our lives. And also, Eileen discussed about the three levels of desires, meaning that closer or farther from God, and then having only desire for God, and eventually when I have the so-called advanced desires, and went on to talk about Ramana Maharshi's Who Am I? And you said that that's the easiest and best practice to become aware of the inner divinity. So, and you exhorted us to spend time every day on this Who Am I? And then you went on to discuss about the three gunas. And what I liked was one very important point that you made. All of the points obviously are very important, but one thing that you really cautioned us was something that can affect even a person who has some spiritual attainment, because it leads us into spiritual pleasure, and then what happens is that slowly acts as a leak to bucket. We are trying to carry this water of spiritual peace in our bucket, and then the same pleasure or these other things are like holes in that bucket, and the water of our peace gets drained from that, and you are cautioning us against such a characteristic. And so one slowly develop from tamas to rajas to sattva, so that one can become aware that we are the atma and not the body. And I thought these are wonderful insights. And in a nutshell, you have told us the whole spiritual path, sir. It's almost like we are reading Swami's book, The Inward Path. In that, I think some of these things just come to us like that. And one very good call you have given is whenever something confronts us, Swami first, as a first resort and not as a last resort. Most, at least, sometimes we do in our forgetfulness. And you have to, and you again reminded us of our, when you answered the question of Brother Murli about the been called to follow Swami, and that is our greatest good fortune. And thank you, Doctor, for reminding us for that. And we are very grateful for you to have taken this time to share all these insights and awakened us to our responsibility to ourselves. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks to you and to everybody else who were listening.
Sai Ram, thank you.
Sai Ram, thank you so much.